If you're listening to this, you had your education in the secular world, I'm sure. You know, you learnt the years of the French Revolution, probably studied Spanish or French in school. You know, the English literature spectrum. Anyway, you live in the physical world. You wouldn't even turn on YouTube if you were in the spiritual world. There are two bodies. There's a physical body and there's a spiritual body. And they live within each other. There's a schizophrenia. In a certain sense, for those of us who grew up in the secular world with a secular education in the physical world here, it's better not to be spiritual. It's not to be religious. It's better off if you don't believe in God. If you're an atheist, that's what they're trying to teach you in these schools, to separate you, church and state, separate you into a physical world. And they've accomplished this. See? Everything in this physical world here, you're better off if you have nothing to do with religion. It only brings doubts to your physicality. Better off proceeding like an animal. Even in that physical world, they think there's morals, these people. You can't have morals without religion. They tried to do that in Germany, where Germans used to think they were correct, but they had no spiritual underpinning. It was correct from a physical sense. Anyway, these YouTube expressions of mine are actually my hitbodedota. I speak into this machine as if I'm speaking to Hashem. This is what's on my mind. Hashem. It's better for the world if they don't believe in you. It's only that creates friction. They can proceed without any doubt. The belief in Hashem and the belief in the nefesh elokit, the spiritual part of the self, creates doubts in the physical world. It's tough to compete in the physical world when you have a spiritual point of view. The physical world, almost in a sense, requires an action, an activity, not a passivity. A dominance rather than submissiveness. Aggression rather than passivity. Proactive rather than being reactive. That's the animal soul. How to accomplish something when you want to be a Hasid. See? Or say a Muslim. You know, the word Hasid means submissive. It's the same word as the word Muslim. Because in Arabic, the word Islam means submission. And a Muslim means one who is submissive. No different than a Hasid. Submissive to the will of Hashem. That's not a physical role. That's not the aggressive role that we talk about in the physical world, in the culture of corporate culture. No. So we have a juxtaposition here. If you want to enter into your spiritual world, you're going to have problems in the physical world, in the secular world. And we do. So how to resolve these problems? As you know, I did a small video that even in the physical world, there's 1/1000th of the spiritual world. But I want to live in the 999. I don't want to live in the 1. I want to live in the spiritual world. And to do that, there's a problem in society. There's a problem. And how to resolve that problem for somebody whose mother tongue was English, who grew up in schools in New York City, who had friends that, mixed world here, didn't grow up in a Orthodox home. What am I going to do now? Drop my entire culture? Very difficult. Because people don't realize this, but language that's imprinted on you in your childhood stays there. So, language that you learn first is your mother tongue. The psychology you learn from those languages, the grammar, the pronouns, the he, the she, the it. So by definition, if one wants to proceed in the spiritual world after they've had a secular or physical world upbringing, good luck. And that's my hitbodedot for today. My speech to myself, because isn't that what hitbodedot is? And for those who think that hitbodedot of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov and of people before that, of coming through the Arizal, and if they think that that isn't what psychoanalysis is, then they're mistaken. Psychoanalysis took for the animal soul and the not the spiritual world, but the physical world, the idea of talking to a person behind a screen. And the original psychoanalysis of Freud used to be 1 hour a day. Very similar to the amount of time that they suggest for hitbodedot. The original time for Hitbodedot by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov was an hour a day. And it's been shortened by the Breslov group to, maybe 20 minutes a day. Let me shorten it even more for you, if you want to do a Hitbodedot. Lacan used to have a thing called the short session. See, the key is that you have to do this every day. If you don't do it every day, things are lost. You can't go to a psychoanalyst once a week. Well, not psychoanalyst. You can't go to a psychologist once a week. And quite frankly, that psychologist is sitting there talking to you and giving you advice from psychology and things like that. No response from the person. Do the fundamental rule, whatever comes into your head, quite frankly. That's what I'm doing right now, without restraint. The only problem I have here in restraint is that I'm not giving like some little deeper curses, foul words. But you have to do it every day. Do you eat every day? You drink water every day? Do you breathe every day? You do Hitbodedot every day. And who you're speaking to, or whom you're speaking to, when you do Hitbodedot, after you do it, you'll realize you're speaking to yourself because there's no one there. You're speaking to Hashem. You're speaking to yourself because you're speaking to the second part of you. Your animal soul is actually speaking to your godly soul when you're doing Hitbodedot. And in a certain sense, then the godly soul can actually speak also. But we'll see. And so do it what I call the Lacanian short session. 7 minutes a day. So you get to the real thing. Because if you do 50 minutes, you're going to procrastinate. And to me, 20 minutes is a long time. You do 7 minutes. And realize that this is the highest form of prayer. Just like these videos are my highest form of prayer and expression. And I receive what to say while I'm talking. A lot of this video I didn't have prepared, and I've made some big comments here. And these things, what you call, come out. That's why you have to do. Don't keep them in without expression. You have to do. So 7 minutes a day, Hitbodedot, speak into a machine, record it if you like. Doesn't have to be a video machine, but maybe a tape on your phone. Record it. Like the President of the United States recorded it, the Nixon tapes. And this is the highest form, and it was brought down in the physical world by Sigmund Freud into the secular world. And it's very helpful for the physical world to straighten yourself out and entering into the spiritual world. So we're going to go on from here. And part of the things that I'm going to proceed with are some of my ideas about the duality of the persona, of the physical and the spiritual. And how can a spiritual person relate within a secular world? And if any people have any ideas for this, underneath this hair, I'm all ears.